Hey guys, my name is Monique Lore Stinson. I am a two-time Emmy Award-winning producer. I am an award-winning documentary film producer and director. And I'm here to talk to you today about the Pandemic Project documentary. It's my little pillow here. It's the first film chat as I put pen to paper and recount the happenstance, the year that was 2020, the adventure that took me around the country to 20 cities during a once in 100-year event in a global pandemic. I wanted to come on here and offer some reflection, some pieces of the puzzle that maybe some people don't know about. We are now streaming on Roku, and it's under a white label. So we're looking to move to our own channel for Latchkey Kid Films very soon. But we are also streaming on Vimeo. So you guys can just type in the Pandemic Project documentary on Vimeo and stream it today. I'm really proud of this. This is my first attempt at documentary films. I've spent the better part of 25 years in reality television, helped building that genre. And now, it's a big shift for me. Now I want to, manage your expectations here with the film. If any of you guys remember the old school movie, Blair Witch, it kind of is like that. It's very much running around with, a 4K camera, an iPhone, a drone here and there to capture what was happening in that time. So I want to kind of take you back 5 years. So much has happened since then. This was the first film in a 3-part film trilogy. So this is the world's first doc trilogy, independent doc trilogy, I should say. I did this all on my own with the help, of course, of 2 co-stars, Gentry Stanley and Christopher John Lysette. Gentry and I worked together at MTV, and we've had other productions together, and he was down to, get on the road during this time. And Christopher John was someone that I met locally here in Southern California, and he's in the banking business. He wanted to kind of shake things up in his world and join as well. I think it's important to remember that, at this time, we were all not sure what was happening. So I want to kind of take you back to March 16th of 2020. All right. So March 16th of 2020, I had just come back from Seattle, Washington. I also just come back from New York. So these were 2 really hot spots for COVID-19 at the time, and we didn't really know. I didn't really know, what was. I'm like any other American, working hard to pay my bills and keep up with the workload. So we weren't really, I wasn't really paying attention. I mean, I was paying attention a little. And what I come to realize is that day wound up being the day I felt like the world just paused. A lot of us felt that way. And all the projects, all the things I'd been working towards for the last decade kind of came to a pause, right? So in-person events, meetings, travel, paused, just came to a halt. And I remembered this feeling of, wow, it's really quiet, and I'm not sure what's going to happen next. The next day, I wake up to more news and more shutdown. Like now we're starting to really get into it. People are canceling things, and everybody's timeline was different. But by the end of that week, going into the next week, I had decided I needed to shift, right? I needed to find out what I could offer in this moment. I knew that I could interview people really well. I really liked speaking with people and getting their story. I knew I had a set of skills that could help people kind of vent and maybe express themselves in this time. I knew that everybody wanted to talk, right? A lot of people did anyway. A lot of people wanted to share their stories and really share, how they were being affected. When I first set out to do this, I started doing it with, phone interviews. So I talked to people just kind of like with casting for a TV show. I start out, just talking to them about their daily life, what they did for a living, you know, just their overall stats, you know, who they were, right? Then we got into the meat of it. You know, we talked about what they did for a living and how this affected them, how long they thought that the duration of this would be, what they were doing for their family and for the well-being, and just whatever people wanted to share in that moment. I started to book people pretty out, like pretty, it was back to back. So I'd say probably every other hour I would have someone that I was interviewing. And what is my hair doing, by the way? Oh, I'm not that vain, but I'm a little bit. Anyway, I really wanted to capture like this moment, and I didn't want this to ever be about politics, right? I wanted this to be about the people. So, you know, I later kind of coined it as a time capsule. And someone that I met on my travels, you know, said that it is a time capsule. And so that's how we were positioning the film. So now, you know, we're into maybe the first week of April, second week of April, and I've got stories I posted on social media. If you got a story, if you're locked down and you want to talk, and people were very responsive. Now, I hadn't planned to do a film. I hadn't planned to, I mean, I definitely was interested in documentaries, right? And maybe shifting. But I never had like a budget set aside. You know, I'm just like everyone else, just working hard to make my dreams come true. And I didn't have like a major conglomerate behind me, right? No network. I didn't have a pre-approved team to you know, HR team or, you know, anything like that, right? Any support. So I had to really do this on my own. What I noticed right away, though, was that people were willing to kind of go on the journey with me, right? My team and I. They wanted to kind of travel through us because everybody was in lockdown, and I don't have kids. I think I had a plant at the time, and I really had to kind of assess the risk reward at that moment. And I really felt like I didn't have much to lose. I didn't have a problem wearing a mask. I really thought it was a plus if I could get out of the house and do what I do best, which is interview people and shake things up. And of course, we were responsible along the way. You know, masking up in 6 feet and just applying those measures that were in place in the areas we were going. All right. So I'm flashing back to this photo where I am on the first flight. We decided that Chicago would be the first city. And I have this funny like costume gas mask kind of thing on. And I just remember looking back at that photo, God, I was kind of not scared, but I was kind of concerned. I was like, am I doing the right thing? And, you know, not for backlash sake, because I knew that we were taking the proper, you know, being responsible, but more about like, am I just doing the right thing for myself, right? And my like family and friends, like them being concerned about me. But I saw the interest of people really wanting to tell the stories, so I wanted to reach out. So we land in Chicago, and our first person is in the healthcare field. And I have to remind you that the planes were semi empty at this point. I mean, there were still people traveling, and as we progressed, they got emptier and emptier. So, you know, we made it to Chicago, Gentry and I. I'm trying to think if CJ was with us, but this was the first stop. And this was the true test of like, if I could pull this off. Flights were really inexpensive. Hotels were really inexpensive. So I was able to get brands to do brand placement. So I would wear some of their items in the film or shout them out. And I just did brand placement on a smaller scale. So that was how I was able to do this. Now, I'm running and gunning, and I'm doing this. I'm building the plane as we're flying it, right? So I'm literally just all the departments. And in real time, just going up to people and getting their story. So I'm really excited that we're streaming. And I hope that you guys read the book when it comes out very soon. And I can't wait to tell you about the other parts of this trip. But the first stop was Chicago. And I think you'll find that we had a lot more in common than we didn't in the time. And people just wanted to share what they were going through and what they were scared for and what they were concerned about and what they ultimately got to do in that pause, right? In that global pause. So the Pandemic Project documentary now streaming on Vimeo and Roku, and I'll be back with another chat. Ciao.